So I'm making some 14th century arms here, and they've got this sort of oyster look that was fashionable amongst the English knights in the late 14th, early 15th century. So what I've done is I've cut my pattern, I've notched the pattern to be able to replicate it on the second wing easily, and what I'm going to do is show how to drop in this fluting. It's just like regular fluting, but you just got to be a bit careful with the control of it. Now, on a good number of the brasses and effigies of this period, particularly the brasses, you can see often that these lines don't run down into the centre of the circle. They're often illustrated as stopping some short distance from there. So what I've done, you should just be able to make it out there on the film, is I've marked another radius in here that demonstrates exactly where I want to start the radius to fade out by. So I keep it nice and uniform by dropping that in there. So what we're going to do is use the anvil, again just to show that you don't need stakes and bits and tools for this. Any sharp edged piece of metal will do, and then we can take it across that and work on it from there. So the hammer I'm going to use on this piece of material is this slightly changed hammer that I've got here. I just rounded the edges off, and I use this for a lot of my fluting. It's got two radiuses, a slightly shallower one and a wider one there. Escutcheon hammers, bricklayer's hammer, you can grind them down to this quite readily, like I have done this one here. Or you can buy a fluting hammer. I keep meaning to get one, just get slightly longer necks with a slight curve on it to get into awkward shapes, but this is perfect for this job. What I'm doing here is I'm using the edge of this anvil, which I've tidied up. It's relatively sharp but not too sharp. I don't want to cut this. And what I do is find the corner there, offer it up vaguely to my mark that I've got here, and just start to tap in my shape. Now bear in mind this is early 15th century. This isn't German. It's not the fantastic fluting that you see in that period. It's close to it, but it's quite shallow. So just tap it down. So you can see I've started to knock in that edge there. Then take it over to this side and tap it back down on this side of the anvil. You can start to see, possibly just about, we're starting to get this line in here. I'm just going to firm it up now. Now I'm looking to compress the material between the hammer and the anvil. Before I was sort of teasing the whole thing over, now I'm actually working on the sharpness of that crease. Bearing in mind, I'll just get a pen quick. I'm not sure it can be seen. I've scratched into here a radius going around, so I finish it off in a uniform manner. So again, find our straight edge, offer it up, touch it down. Not hitting hard, we're just sharpening up this crease. Same again on the other side. The further I lift this away, the deeper this will become. We don't want it too deep, just enough to catch the light when it's cleaned. You can see there we've got just the slightest raise. The sharpness was in there. You can feel it with my thumb. So the sharpness is in the piece. we'll tidy that up a little bit more. I just want to add this other one here now, and we can see what happens. So I'll get that started, offer it up, push it down, so we're teasing that across, we're not striking and trying to find the corner here. So what we've got now, you can see there is these two lifts, these two high points here. They come up, they go straight across and up again. We want to give that a little bit on the end there. Push it down a touch. It's an elegant curve. So again, just support the piece, find the broader end of your hammer, just touch through the middle, supporting it all the time. And on the other side again, you're just supporting it and you're touching in this middle section. And you can see now, looking at it, we have a more elegant curve here. Not that horrible unsightly flat piece. We've got a nice gentle sweep in there, and we just continue to make our way along the whole of the rim of the wing like that until it's completed. So I'm almost there. All I'm doing is trying to add a nice little crease, a scallop to each one. Remember, just by tapping it down in the middle here. Remember, hear that dead noise. If I start to hear, I'm sharpening my crease and possibly cutting the material. There we go. A reasonably nice scallop across each of these. Now this is going to get moved around an awful lot as we pull out the elbow of this, so don't get too worried if it's twisted. Just keep it under control. It's going this way a bit at the minute, so this is just a bit of mild, so we can twist it back like that. And then in fairness, you might have a reasonable clearance already with that shape off of the movement of the elbow. But if it's going a bit high here, just spotted a bit off from my crease there, so I'll give that a touch while I see it. If you think this is going a bit too much like a ski ramp here, you've been a bit heavy with it, simply turn it over, get it over something soft, give it a tap down, or even just on the flat of this anvil, but you want to hit it here. Here's no good, this will be moving all over the place when I get it down in there. So I've got a bit of lead here. You could do it with a hard hammer, just go steady. I prefer a soft face one, but this was here. So get it over something and just give it a touch. There you go, that's a lot nicer. So, we'll give these a clean. We'll take a look at a couple of them and see how we've done. Now, our creases are in there. You can see in this light, but you can see they're in there quite nicely. But what I've got is a pitting. It's been caused by striking a little misstrikes with the corner of the hammer into this material. Now, I've got a choice here, like I've said before, I believe. I can remove this material from the surface, which will really thin it down. And these are just misstrikes, so that means I've compressed it that side. It's come up this side a wee bit. So what we do is we offer that up to a round surface that way, and we tap those strikes back down. So as I said before, you can see the quick polish I've done has revealed some little dinks and dents in here, and I don't want to just grind them out because it'll really thin this material down. So you get a tool like this, similar to this, offer up the edge over the bit here and just tap it down. Have a check, see if the bruising is over the marks that you've made before. Some on this side. Just checking the light there. You can see we've lifted these ones out now on the top. I'll just make my way down them. Like so. So I'll go and give this one a clean and we'll compare it to the one I've not touched. We'll see if the technique works. So up here, where we've just done that hammering, I've just given it a quick grind, and you can see there, I'm hoping in the light, that we've pretty much lifted out all of those marks. So what I'll do is I'll carry on, get all of it cleaned up quickly, and then we can take a look at the final piece. So here we are, taken to a 120 grit. It tends to show up the imperfections quite nicely in this sort of light on a 120 grit. I can see there's a couple of spots there I still want to work with. I haven't taken the creases as sharp as I can get them. I just don't think they were doing razor sharp creases so much in this period. It's a personal thing. I don't have an awful lot of evidence for or against what they were doing with this sort of work in this period, but I think it was enough for it to catch the light, but not be some of the razor sharp stuff we see a bit later, particularly amongst some of the English and German stuff. I think they were still learning the ways to do it and the look that they wanted, but this would certainly translate well enough into what you can see on the brasses of this period in particular. So there we go. So really, to recap, I've used the edge, either edge of my anvil here, got nice clean edges on these, no requirement for any specialist stakes or similar. I used a standard little fluting hammer that I've got here, but equally, as I said, you can get an escutcheon hammer, a bricklayer's hammer, or even just a normal hammer and grind the edges down to this. It just takes a little bit of time and a bit of patience. As well as that, I use this little hammer just to push things down from the back there so that I didn't grind away stacks of material to clean that back. I think the only other thing realistically that I used was a lead block just to help position that, but I'm not too bothered about the waviness or the exact position of this yet until I've pulled out the elbow. So maybe we'll take a look once the elbows are in place and I've done the pair of them, just how I get this into position. Now I've fluted it so heavily, but it's really not that hard. Just give it a smack from behind with a soft faced hammer over a soft face like a block of lead or a shot bag, and you'll be fine. So I hope that's useful. A really simple way just to get those creases in there reasonably well over the edge of some pretty rudimentary tools. No need for stakes and other clever bits and pieces. Just crack on with the anvil and you should be just fine getting those creases into the material.